Rudy! Yes. Longtime patron member, Cue Ball here. Club 2016, dude. That is like OG Alpha Investments, like patron, man. Like, there's probably, from 2016, there's probably 50 of those original patrons left. And the 2017 original $250 $10 tier patrons, I'd say there's probably half of those left. Dude, you're OG, man. Card collection belongs to one of my buddies from the original Magic Play group. He knew I was still deeply involved in the hobby and entrusted me with finding a good home. So I offered this guy 1 cent on the dollar. So this little stack of beta cards, 10 cents a card. I paid $6 for all this. I'm kidding. Or am I? Scumbag. We started playing Magic during the summer of '93 when one of my brought a starter pack and 2 boosters of some game called Mujic Yu-Gi-Oh!ing from some guy showcasing this game from Pacific-Con. Holy cow, it was a long time ago. A board game RPG con and in my neck of the woods. We all thought the game was interesting, so all of us bought a starter pack and some boosters so we can make decks. After that summer, most of us went to college locally, but my buddy G, who owned these cards, moved away and his stuff got put at his parents' place. Heard that a lot too. Recently back to clean out his old room and discovered some long-lost treasures. Well, I'm disappointed he didn't find the old Type 1 deck. Big Blue Withdrawal. I'm hearing some Ancestral Recalls and Time Walker Roonies. This partial beta starter deck in this condition was very cool to find. Hope we can do a deal. Yep, well, the deal's already done. Just want to share. We have a small stack. I want to comment on a few things. First, let's look at the beautiful cards. So, nice little small stack, smack. Yes. Oh my God, smack and stack. Nice little small stack of light play, maybe SP, light play, little nicks and chips and everything. It's old. They've been just kind of flopping around, right? So, the rares, Aspect of Wolf, Drain Power. 2 cards I really like. 2 cards, actually, I don't want to get too much into it because I don't want to manipulate the market, but Drain Power is one of my favorite Alpha Beta rares. That and like Mana Short with like the flower. You guys have seen some other videos on those 2 cards. Always a huge fan of those. And yes, uncommon, Stony Giant. Commons, we got some great pulls in the common slot. We got Lightning Bolt and Disenchant. Absolutely stellar cards. Beta Lightning Bolts are probably one of the more... That Beta Lightning Bolt is more expensive than the rares. I'm telling you. Uncommons, we got the Karma over here with the Giant. And of course, common, Psychic Venom, Flights, Strength, Spiders, Stone Rain, little iconic there. Got Gray Ogres. Oh! Earthbind, probably one of the most iconic common cards that have moved up substantially in price recently, just over the artwork alone. So very iconic common card. Uncommon, Animate Dead, fantastic card. Walls, uncommon, kind of crappy. Juggernaut, great uncommon, very iconic there. And of course, common, Frozen Shade. In the rest, we just got some basic lands over here. Oh, and a little, no, I'm sorry. Basic lands in little Hal. And of course, Sinkhole, obviously the most powerful, infamous land destruction cards of all time in Magic's original OG history. So I want to comment, we'll ramble for a few minutes today. Very short, simple thing. So overall, I would say a collection like this isn't too extreme. I would say this is probably going to be around, if I sold each one of these things on eBay, I think I'd bring in maybe between $1,000 to $1,500 gross, maybe net around $900 to $1,100 net post shipping and fees, depending if they were sold individually and blah, 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 and bidding and auction and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I know Alpha Lightning Bolts are approaching that $1,000 thing, but I think more importantly, people always, when I do these videos, people don't ask me about lightning bolts and sinkholes and, crazy bondage stuff. And people don't ask about that. People don't ask about rares. People ask about these 2 right here. That is the most common thing that people ask me about after I do videos of collection buying or anything. And of course, this video is sponsored by myself and my lovely patrons that support me. And if you have any old collections for sale, AlphainvestmentsLLC at gmail.com, PP. Pictures and prices. No giggities. Pictures and prices. And as always, everything you see in this video is not for sale, but I appreciate the contacts. But anyways, back to the video. Usually these are what people ask about. Everybody knows the lightning bolts. Everybody knows, oh, that's a rare. Everybody knows the, bondage and sinkholes. And everybody knows that. But the things that always get questioned are going to be basic lands. What is the true value of an alpha beta basic land? And of course, the generic common cards. There's been a ton of chatter in 2022. Remember with Tempest and Alliances and Fallen Empires and Homelands. The Dark. Oh my God, the Dark. I swear I've had more messages about the Dark in 2022 than any other Magic set in history. It's just insane. The people obsessing and like trying to crack the Rubik's Cube of the Dark has just been out of control, ladies and gents. But anyways, common cards. Okay? Common cards from those 4 Horsemen sets. specifically, Arabian Nights, Antiquities, Legends, and of course the Dark, and of course Alpha, Beta, Unlimited common cards. The common cards from all these old things is the most discussed thing, and I think it's because they're still considered affordable, and a lot of people can connect and relate to them because it's not like they're trying. If you can buy, well, if you can find them, you can buy 100 stone rains, and most people can afford that. You can't buy 100 lightning bolts. Well, assuming you could find 100 on the market, which you probably couldn't, but assuming there was 100 available, most people can't drop, 100, even if they're $1,000 Alpha Mint one. Most people couldn't spend 100 grand on lightning bolts kind of thing. But buying a bunch of $5, $10 common cards is still very realistic, even for 2022 standards. I mean, remember that. Like, you've got new Magic products in premium products selling for hundreds and thousands of dollars. We got a collector box of Commander Legends approaching $1,000 a box. And you can buy beta commons for like $10. You see my point? So because of that, that is why I believe the basic land and this kind of thing get the most attention. Because it's something that everybody knows. You can't use the G word guarantee, but there's always, it doesn't really feel dangerous. You buy a weird $500 modern or standard card, they can go from $500 to $50, or it can go from $500 to $1,000. It's very volatile. The swings of up and down on like Wall Street type stocks or very high beta cards are dangerous. Now, cards like this, you buy a Stone Rain for $10. I mean, you buy a Psychic Venom for $10. What's your downside risk? You really think in 5 years from now, this card's going to be $1? You think you're going to lose all your money buying a beta card because in 5-10 years it's going to drop? You think, do you see my point? You think, a beta Earthbind for, $50? You think that thing's going to go to $10? You think it's going to go down by half in the future? When it's just more rare, there's less of them available, and natural attrition of people selling, lost in the mail, natural disasters, people throwing them away. You think that's stuff, it only trends in one direction long term. And that's why there's a lot of attractiveness to even lower tier, more affordable cards. And there's a lot of them. There's still a lot out there. So that's why I always like to talk about that, because this is where this is where the thousands of people are looking right now. Because you can't, again, you can't go on eBay. You can't even find probably 20 aspects of Wolf for sale. Can you even find 10 of these, of each one for sale in the open market? Are there even 30 or 40 juggernauts from beta for sale? Probably not. Probably not. But there's a lot of commons floating around, and there's a lot of basic land that always float around. And of course, Alpha Beta Basic Land is the iconic OG pimped out version in an era when flashy variants of super exotic versions of basic lands are, sold and released by Wizards and secret lairs in every single standard product. Wizards has made so many flashy, exotic variants of basic land, they have all imploded on themselves, and all of them are just considered kind of diluted in lack of, they're just not special anymore. Nobody cares. And that's why the money is, I believe, is looking at stuff like this. Because it doesn't matter how many flashy variants of mountains and islands and swamps and plains and islands and it doesn't matter how many of these are made. People want the originals because everybody recognizes the original. Between the font, the colors, the specific bold text in it, everybody knows. And of course, you've got all the specifics and people crazy about, certain cards that are risque or very iconic or, just stuff like that, So that's kind of my speech in this video. Again, very honored, Dr. Q Ball, the Third Dynasty, to buy this little small collection from you and share it with the world. And I kind of feel the kind of my perspective on why I'm still buying, and even today's prices, this and that. And I know alpha is way more sought after than beta, but whatever. But that's just where I stand on it. I'm still buying things. I'm still enjoying it. Haven't lost its luster for the ABU stuff, and there's a real chance that, the continued push of variants and different things could, push more people back to the originals because, I don't know, to end this video, I guess I'll say this. I really wouldn't go there, but, this story about playing at the beginning, found the old cards, was very cool, and how they're worth a lot more than what he paid. The guy probably paid $20 for a starter deck or something, and, and he didn't even have any crazy exotic cards and no power dual lands. in 10, 20 years from now, I don't think anyone's going to have a stack of standard cards and single cards that they paid $20 for that are going to be worth $1,000 or $2,000 because everything gets reprinted. Wizards has no respect for modern day single cards and new ones. There's no matter how much, and I believe, and again, I don't, we're in the end of the video, no one's listening, which is why I've always believed additional structuring and expansion of the reserve list should be taken into effect to preserve and to help the people in the younger generation who are buying single cards today. Those people are working just as actually probably harder to make money, and they should have some ability to retain value and experience growth for the money they worked hard for, similar to the previous generation. And now again, whether that adjustment and expansion of reserve list is on particular cards or styles or archetypes, or even if it's just a new reserve list for artwork. Moving forward, all artwork for Showcase or Ultimate Master Box Topper artwork is reserve list. We can reprint the card, but we can't use that variant and that artwork again. Even if it's an artwork, it doesn't even impact the game. There needs to be something in place that shows the respect that they care about the people's money that's being inputted today. And that's a tragedy because I see it all the time. People in Magic for 2-3 years spend $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. They go to sell it to a store. The store goes, I'll give you $100. And they lose their mind. They get even more pissed and they quit Magic. They email me, Rudy, my LGS is trying to scam me. My LGS is only wanting to give me $100 for my $2,000 collection I spent. And I reply and I say, look, man, sorry, I don't buy the new single cards because of that exact reason. And number two, I don't think your local store is trying to rip you off. I think if they're offering you $100, they're hoping to get $200 or maybe $300 for your collection and assuming the risk and the time involved in the work. And they're not trying to rip you off. That's the engineering of Wizards in the secondary market. And that's the blunt reality of them not giving two Fs about the secondary market on single cards because they are pumping out so many flashy variants. If they're willing to reprint fetch lands from the original Onslaught artwork, or I'm sorry, not the original Onslaught artwork, the original Onslaught type fetch lands, in other words, the allied fetch lands, I apologize, not the artwork, with retro frames, with the shooting star type foiling, they're willing to go back. And they're willing to do that. They're willing to reprint Portal 3 Kingdoms, Imperial Recruiters, and things from P3Ks and Portal sets after 20 years. Sure, it's got a different art, different framework, but it just shows that that's their mindset. And that's all I have to say. Hope you all learned something today. As always, beautiful world out there. Thanks again for being a very kind patron. Appreciate the smooth and really good transaction, everybody. Have a beautiful day.